Yeah, and what can you say about the impact of these programs on the actual high growth of SMEs in Singapore?
Right. I think um, the issue I had when I was doing this research was that even though there was uh, I say how would say evaluation towards the success of these initiatives, there the information is not really shared to the general public itself because of competitive reasons. The government itself plays a very strong role in economic competitivity. So in terms of their activities, what they have done, their policies, it's not very much in the public knowledge. But of course, there are certain indicators which we can extrapolate these kinds of how successful these programs are. So basically, in last year's National Day rally, the Prime Minister himself has announced that the country has emerged from one of the worst recessions it had since independence. This was because of the 2008 subprime economic crisis, and he himself attributed that success to the numerous opportunities that local SMEs have been given to further develop their business and technical capabilities through, for example, R&D and technology upgrading. And I guess if we were to go towards some quant studies, the Get Up program itself did release some information which I can share, which is basically in 2009 itself, it had about, I think, over 300 research scientists and engineers that were seconded to 297 high growth SMEs to help increase their productivity and competitiveness. So that's some statistics that I have at the moment. Yeah.
Can you tell us some examples of companies that were supported by Spring and the Get Up program, just to get a more tangible impression of what type of companies emerges from these programs?
Sure. So let's start with Spring Singapore first. I think under Spring Singapore there is the business advisory initiative, and the program that they call is the Business Advisors Program, and we see it for one company called Greenpack Private Limited. Now, Greenpack Private Limited is basically a company, knowledge-based company that designs, customized, and cost-effective, environmental-friendly packaging solutions. And since its inception, it's been trying to really internationalize its products. So the company basically reached out to Spring's Business Advisors program that put them in partnership with professionals in financial and operational domains to help them support their global expansion plan. That's one. And the other example I can give from the Get Up program with A-Star is the Technology for Enterprise Capability program, where this company called Resin and Pigment, which is primarily a manufacturer of color and engineering compounds. So the company wanted to expand into Chinese markets, for example, in China and Singapore, and they wanted to create a new type of polymer materials. So through the Get Up program, two specialized research engineers were actually seconded to the company to help set up, research and testing facilities. And to that end, Resin and Pigment actually increased their average monthly revenue by about over 100,000 Sing dollars in 2009. So that's pretty impressive achievement for them. Yeah.
And following from these impacts, what could you say are the lessons that Europe may be able to learn from Singapore when Europe or European countries try to support high growth SMEs? Is there anything you could say?
Right. I think the first and most primary factor in terms of Singapore's SME success is the huge involvement of the government sector itself into, it really is invested in the creation and clustering of high growth industry hotspots. And in that, the government continually invests in infrastructure, both hard and soft infrastructure, to create things like sustainable smart cities. And these intelligent cities kinds of concept really means that you need to coordinate a critical mass of advanced knowledge sources, for example, universities, advanced public and corporate research labs. You need to bring in venture capitals. You need to groom your entrepreneurial talents. For example, and also bring in knowledge workers with so that you can promote specialized professional services. And the whole spectrum in creating this whole ecosystem, it needs to be supported by sophisticated end users. So I think the government plays a very crucial role into really providing this whole infrastructure of a sustainable city that can really help the high growth SMEs grow over time. And also I guess it's important that these agencies at the forefront of grooming a new class of C-level executives, because these leaders of tomorrow need to have an understanding that of, for example, the intertwined complexity and relationships between technologies and business models, and I guess increasingly the impetus to continually innovate for survival is really progressively is really paramount.
Okay, I think these are many aspects now for a lively discussion. We thank you very much that you have been available for this interview about your case study that you did about Singapore. Thank you very much and have a good evening.
Thank you very much, Steph.
Good evening to Singapore. Bye-bye.